One of the most common issues that people face when trying to build their dream body is that they are busy. Busy at their job, busy with work, busy with assignments at school or university, busy with all kinds of other things that we do in life. Then you see these fitness influencers who spend all their life inside the gym. You want an aesthetic body that looks attractive and gives you massive confidence, but you're not sure that you can dedicate that amount of time and mental RAM to doing that much. I felt the same way, and as I enter my 30s, this is even more the case. I have a lot of other things to consider in my life other than going to the gym, and finding the right balance is sometimes tricky. Being busy can actually act as a plus when it comes to building your dream body. You might be thinking, wait, what? How's this possible? I've been told all my life that you have to do more to get more. You have to grind out that extra rep, the extra set, and you'll grow that much quicker. But it's actually this mentality that keeps people stuck, because this kind of training actually came down from the old school bodybuilding community, and they were on incredible amounts of steroids, in which case that kind of high volume, going to failure training works. But if you're a normal guy with a normal job and a normal life, this is very much likely to lead to burnout. If you are busy in your life and you don't have a lot of time to put into gym and fitness, that means you need to optimize your training so that you can get the most in the shortest amount of time. So you have to keep your workouts around 1 hour or less. This is actually beneficial because going to the gym doesn't seem then like a huge commitment, like a 2-hour thing where you leave drained afterwards. You will actually be able to sustain the lifestyle of going to the gym longer. And the second thing naturally is that because the exercise is short, you are forced to select the exercises that you will do. You know, they say in order for you to be creative, there needs to be some limitation, right? You have to write a poem using only 40 words that makes you creative within the confines of a certain limitation. If you know you can only do it in 1 hour, you have to be creative and resourceful about the exercises that you select that will best build a body that you want. It cannot just be this, I'll do everything. I do this, and then, what about my forearms? Oh, what about my calves? What about my toes? What about my neck? You have to be strategic. You have to say, you know what? The aesthetic foundation of my body, the biggest muscles in my body that's going to give me 90% of my physique is my legs, my chest, my back, my shoulders. So I'm going to focus on these. Then you might say, well, actually, what's important to me is being healthy and flexible in the joints and staying away from injury, because that would affect my life outside the gym. Then you might choose exercises that improve your rotator cuffs or your hip flexors. You might say, oh, but as I do these exercises, I want to actually get bigger arms as well and work my abs. In that case, you might choose heavier compound movements that engage your core muscles, your abs and your obliques to stabilize, so that you're indirectly working those muscles too. You might choose exercises like pull-ups or the bench press or press-ups or inverted rows. Those exercises work your arms very effectively as well, and you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Do you see how being busy actually acts as a limitation within which you have to be strategic? And this is the essence of minimalist training. This is what allows you to hone in on those exercises that really matter, that kill 3 birds with 1 stone, and then you can focus on increasing the intensity. Intensity is how you do the workout. You could be very, very low intensity and stay long hours in the gym. A lot of people actually do this not because they want to, because they're not focused when they go in the gym. You see people all the time that do 1 set on a machine. They go on Instagram a bit, they go on Snapchat a bit, they reply to a couple of texts, and it takes like 5 minutes, they do another set. And then while they do the set, they feel like they're working out, but it's just elongated over this time and it's not very high intensity. Whereas another person might go in and he's focused, he knows exactly what he needs to do that day because he's been tracking his workouts. He knows he doesn't have that much time, so he lifts a heavier weight and doesn't do endless amount of sets. He just does his 3 sets, his 4 sets with a weight that he can only do for like 4 to 10 reps, and then he has to get out of there. Notice how the intensity of the second guy is higher because he's selected a higher weight, he's selected a lower rep range, he's selected even a lower number of exercises. All of these combined makes the intensity higher. Why is this beneficial? It's because a lot of the time we get tired of going to the gym. Let's be honest, there are times when it's super fun. There are times where we cannot wait to step inside the gym again. But there are equally other times where you don't want to show up or you don't want to go. And each time you come back after a 2-hour workout, however low intensity it is, it's just draining. And then you have this idea, you're like, oh my God, I felt like a packet of spinach last time. Like, I got to do that again. Like, that's not a very good place to be. If you only train 3 to 4 times a week because you're just simply too busy to go anymore, that actually helps you stay consistent. What does that mean? You're more likely to make it a part of your lifestyle, which means in the long run, you'll see better gains than the guy who gets super motivated, gets excited, and burns out from, January. He trains 3 months, and by middle of March, he's kind of like, oh, you know what? I'm feeling too tired. And then excuses start compiling up. Before you know it, he's not going anymore. And the last thing I'll say in terms of training is that you are almost forced to rest because you cannot go all the time. Your muscle has enough time. Your brain and mind has enough time to recover, new neural connections made, which is how you gain strength. It's a neurological strength gain as well as a physical strength gain. Your muscle has time to reform and get stronger, which means next time you do a higher intensity, higher weight workout, you're more likely to progress. Progress feeds into your motivation. You want to go again, but you're too busy, so you have to wait. You start looking forward to going to the gym. And you can get into this beautiful upward spiral by opting for this kind of minimalist training purely because you're busy. Don't let just that time constraint be something where you're like, oh, I have a busy life, so I can't add that thing in my life. Usually that constraint is a beautiful thing. If you train small and train smart, your gym can enhance your life and give you more energy instead of burning you out. If you are a busy guy, it's very likely that cooking meals, eating meals, doing the dishes, it's a chore. It takes a lot of time. Nowadays, I'm quite busy with my work, so eating is fun, but preparing it and washing it is just time consuming. So what if you did some form of fasting? What if you only ate once or twice a day? For busy people, this is perfect. That's one less meal that you have to think about what to eat, prepare it, take it away. Even if you eat out and it's easy, if you just don't eat that, then you have saved time. And what does that mean? It means you're more likely to stay in a caloric deficit over the entire day, which is going to help you get leaner, which is going to help reveal the muscle that you build. Another thing is, it's very funny. You think logically that if you're busy and you're doing a lot of stuff, you'll be more hungry. That's what you think, right? But a lot of the time, if you're really busy, you actually either forget your hunger, you forget to eat, or you don't become that hungry. Whereas if you're doing nothing and you're lounging around the couch, it feels like you didn't use any energy, so you shouldn't be hungry. But you start eating, and because you're kind of bored, because you want something to do, you start just eating for the sake of eating because it's a fun dopamine thing to do. And then you end up eating more and more on the days you don't even exercise, or on the days that you don't do much. Just incorporate fasting into your life. And it's not this unhealthy thing. In most cases with fasting, it actually has a lot of benefits for people that try it. And one of the biggest benefits obviously is save time and mental clarity and focus and things like that for your work. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. I hope it helped, especially if you're someone that's, pushed for time. I would say minimalist training is a very, very good thing to do. Hope that helped, guys. See you in the next video. Hey guys, this is the first meal of the day. I woke up quite late, around 9 o'clock, fasted until now, which is like 1:40, going up to 2 o'clock. Went to the gym around 11, did an hour of workouts. And over the next few months, I'm trying to get leaner because, as you can see, I've gained a little bit of weight. And so the lunch is very low carb, in fact no carb, and I would say there's about 4 eggs in there, boiled. How much is that? 4 eggs is about 70 calories each. That's 280 calories, plus a bunch of salad, which probably amounts to like 200, so that's about 480 calories, plus the olive oil that I will put in, Dietary, which is Italian brand, family level brand, nothing too fancy, but solid Italian olive oil, extra virgin, of course. Let's drizzle it. Boom. Okay, that's quite a lot. That's probably about a good 100 calories. So we have 480 plus 100, that's 580, plus this very old and thick balsamico vinegar. Oh, aceto balsamico, give that about 30 calories. So we're at 610 calories, plus a little bit of black pepper, because I love black pepper. And that's it. This is my lunch for today. You guys have seen that sometimes I have a much bigger lunch with, like, you know, eggs and rice and things, which is also fine. But I try to keep the first meal quite light because I tend to have big dinners with the family, and I want to save up my calories till the end of the day, you know. So good. So one thing that I recommend is that if you have eggs and you fry them all the time, then obviously you'll be using a lot of like olive oil and maybe even butter, whatever you eat your eggs with. Whereas if you boil it, you don't have any of those extra calories, and it still tastes really good. So boiled eggs is a really good way to get some healthy protein and some healthy cholesterol, which is very essential for the production of testosterone, right? Cholesterol and fat and sleep and sunlight. You see, I didn't even wash my face and I went to the gym. So I look a little like I just woke up, but keeping it real. What are other good sources of protein? Obviously my favorite has got to be steak, like lean steak. Not even that lean, like I love ribeyes, sirloins, but they're expensive, so you can get things like chuck or flank steak or whatever lean beef, even minced beef. If you know the basics of cooking and the basics of taste, then you can make most things taste good. So let me tell you what actually makes things taste good is good seasoning and a good balance of flavors and fat. Those are the three things that make a tasty meal. Obviously you need to gather a lot of experience so that you get better at balancing the flavors, better at seasoning. But cooking really comes down to that, you know. Fat is essential because it really makes things taste good. Like this salad would not taste that good without the olive oil, right? That's the fat. So fat makes things taste good. Eggs taste better than the lettuce because eggs have fat in it and protein, of course. But if you look at, you know, very high protein meats that have no fat in it, it's very tough to chew. That's the kind of like really chewy, overcooked kind of that's no fat. Whereas if you get a good ribeye or Wagyu beef that just melts in your mouth, what makes that thing melt is the fat, right? That's why fat is essential to tasty food. And for the production of testosterone again. And which then relates to your regulation of libido, your hormonal balance and everything. So, you know, these low fat, no fat diets are just, you're shooting yourself in the foot, you know. Things won't taste good, you won't want to like have sexy times. Like, who wants to live like that? How's my physique looking so far, huh? Not as lean as I want, but be grateful for what you already have. Even if you're like super thin right now and skinny or super fat or whatever it is, like the most important thing is being accepting and appreciative of what you've already got and changing your body from a place of acceptance and almost like opening the door for a new version of you to come in, rather than hating on your body and wanting it and forcing it to change. Because the former is going to put you in a positive spiral of enjoying the process of, like, it's just going to be easy to stay on the right track doing the right things if you're in that mood, being grateful and being like thankful. But if you're in the mood of just like, why do I look like this? Why am I so chubby? Why I got all this belly fat? Well, since when did I get all this coating of stuff? Like, why do I have this like spot here? And you start going into this like super stressed mode, like pestering yourself internally. It creates all the wrong emotional triggers that's gonna make you go like, I don't feel good right now, so I want this feeling to stop, so let me do something that's gonna numb me into not feeling like this anymore, which is dopamine spikes, which is instant gratification, which is have that chocolate, which is binge eat, which is, you know, go on dating apps, go whatever, do whatever. You just always trying to escape the moment. Because you don't feel good in the moment, you're trying to escape the moment. So you have to make it easier for yourself to be in the moment with yourself. Sounds a bit crazy, but that's what it is. You have on your weight loss journey, on your body transformation journey, you need to find a way for it to be easier for you to enjoy the process and be there with yourself without all the like self-hate, self-blame stuff. Anyways, back to the topic. How do you make stuff taste good? We talked about fat. Next thing is balance of flavors. So the olive oil makes the salad taste good, but it tastes even better with balsamic vinegar. Why? Because acidity, the taste of acidity cuts through fat and gives it this kind of really balanced flavor, whereas just fat can feel really greasy and heavy, right? If you've had like that really deep fried late night street level pizza, street cred pizza, you know what I'm talking about, right? Those kebabs at 3 a.m. coming out the club and just, whoa, you feel like this grease coating inside your mouth, on your lips, you feel shit inside, and like this ball of bad food stuck in your belly. You don't get that if you go to a good restaurant and have like a nice fatty steak, which by the way, they put like a fistful of butter in, if it's a French inspired cuisine, because they balance it out with acidity, and acidity has that way of cutting through the fat. That's the idea of vinaigrettes, that's the idea of balsamic vinegar here. And that's actually the idea that you find a lot in Asian cuisine, and the side dishes we get like kimchi and marinated radish and things like that. It's the acidity that kind of balances out the heavy fat feeling. And it actually helps with your digestion, the acidity. But you have to be careful because acidity, because it balances out the fat, you might actually end up feeling like you can eat a lot more, because acidic food can get kind of like very it's very like sharp on the palate, so you just want more and more and more. So fat, acidity, sweetness and saltiness. You know, you want to balance it. So I put the salt and pepper for the seasoning, but there's natural sweetness. I didn't put sugar in it, but there's natural sweetness in the tomatoes, in the balsamic vinegar, and so on. But not too much. You don't want to overpower it. Something has to lead. The saltiness and the sweetness can be balanced in a beautiful way, but one of them has to lead. Either the food is generally salty with a bit of sweetness to balance it out, like acidity and fat, or the food is generally sweet with a bit of saltiness to balance that out, like salty cakes, or like salads that are generally salty but with a bit of sweetness. And the thing with seasoning, most people, they're not very good at seasoning. Now it's hard to say, but like a lot of people are scared of salt. Like this is Malden sea salt, beautiful. Found this out when I lived in the UK. Salt is also essential for your body, so you don't like. I grew up with everyone telling me salt's bad, like don't eat too salty, don't like. Salt is essential for your body. Obviously, if you overdo it, it's probably bad for you, but Most people, for that reason, do not salt their food enough. And if only they just did this, they knew how to season the right amount, that food would instantly taste better. I ran over about the seasoning part. Seasoning is probably the most important part of cooking. It's also the simplest but the hardest in a way. Getting that ratio right. Like when you boil the pasta water, you gotta put a lot of salt in the pasta water. A lot. You put whatever you put in, and then you put in a bit more, and you go, I remember when he told me to put more salt in the pasta. Look at this. This is like 600 calories, right? And I'm like halfway through, not even halfway through, and I feel full because there's so much volume, and I eat for a long time. Also because I'm talking to the camera. And because of this, my body has a chance to send the signals to my brain like, you're full, it's good now. So I could just stop eating right now. Probably had about 350 calories, and I could go a few hours again. Because it's high volume and low calorie. So where do you find high volume, low calorie foods? In Whole Foods. Not the store. I've never been to like the Whole Foods, like the US store, whatever. I should try it one day, but in Whole Foods, as opposed to processed food that have additives that are meant to make you want to like eat more. In Whole Foods, like whole chickens or whole whatever, and especially salads, you get this super high volume with not much calories, which means you can eat and eat and eat and eat and still be full. So good. The salt with the fat with the acidity. Another thing is salad, right? So people have these salads, that myself included. Sometimes you're like, oh, you know what? I'm losing weight now, so I'm gonna have a salad. And then they have like all these olives and chickpeas and avocados and sauces, and the salad is like 1,200 calories, you know? You think you're having a salad, like, oh, it's just a salad. What did I tell you? It's all about the calories. A salad can have 1,200 calories, and easier than you think. It can go up quite high depending on the olive oil, depending on the sauces, depending on the ingredients that are actually in there. If you have a full avocado with a bunch of like different things, you know, a salad can be a good 900, 1,000 calories. So don't just think because you're having a salad, you're having a low calorie meal, or that you're automatically going to lose weight. I think this is one of the biggest issues that maybe girls who try to lose weight, they face. They go and have all these salads and they're like, it's not happening. Well, it's because you have like, you know, 3 avocados in there. Might do some more cooking videos. People ask me about cooking videos. I'll try to make more cooking videos for you, like some pastas that I love to make and things. I'm gonna finish this video with a final thought, which is this: our bodies evolved